In this video, we're going to cover 6.17 and 6.18. So in 6.17, we just got done talking about the circular and longitudinal muscles in the small intestine. They're also in the esophagus, but what are they doing? So what they do is they create this thing called peristalsis. So peristalsis is like a wave of contractions that push the food down your digestive system. And those two muscles make this happen. So the circular muscles and the longitudinal muscles. So if you can think of this, if you can look at this image and think of the layer of longitudinal muscles here on the outside, they're going to be contracting on the outside in this way, just to slowly push food down. So maybe they're contracted here to push the food down this way. And then the circular muscles are going to be like a sphincter, like they actually close real tight so the food can't go in the opposite direction. So those circular muscles, which are on the inside, are going to contract here and here to make food doesn't go the wrong way and all your food flows down this way. So that's called peristalsis, and those two muscles make sure that happens to move both the bolus down your esophagus and the chyme down your small intestine. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So in 6.18, they want you to know the difference between absorption and assimilation. So absorption, quite simply, is just bringing the byproducts of digestion. All that work, all those enzymes are going to make the most simple things, and they're going to move those most simple things of each type of food group into your blood. So that's absorption. So if we think of it, you have carbs, and a lot of carbs that we take in initially start off as this very long, complex molecule called starch. But in the end, the most simple thing we can have is a monosaccharide, such as glucose, right? So glucose would be one of those things that ends up in your blood. If we're looking at proteins, right, the basic building block, the smallest, that's horrible, sorry. The basic building block, or the smallest molecule we have for that, are our amino acids, right? Amino acids, that we all know, is hydrogen to a nitrogen, central carbon, hydrogen up here, carbon double bound to this, and OH, right? So that's our most simple form. And those amino acids go from your digestive system also into your blood. And the last thing are fats, are also lipids. And lipids are broken down into that glycerol molecule, right? And then 3 fatty acids that we sometimes draw like this. Those also will eventually eventually they go into your blood, but there's a couple steps we'll talk about how they end up there. So that's the absorption, taking these products of digestion, the smallest units, and bringing them into your blood. Assimilation is using them. I mean, that's why we eat food, to use those little molecules for certain things. So for example, glucose, we just got done with cell respiration. So glucose is going to be the energy, or the source of energy, to produce ATP in cell respiration. Our amino acids. Amino acids are going to be used to make other proteins. So this amino acid maybe goes into the cell, and we make things like enzymes, or we make hormones, or we make more muscle tissue, right? All of that is made from amino acids. And then lipids, right? These glycerols and these fatty acids. I mean, if you remember way back when we were talking about membranes, the plasma membrane of the cell, you have a phosphate head, right? And what's on the bottom? 2 fatty acids. So these 2 little squiggly things I drew here are these molecules right here. So the lipid byproducts, the glycerol and the fatty acid, can be used to make our phospholipid bilayer. And we can put a whole bunch of them together and eventually make a membrane.